You want a paper on this? Want to share this?
Sure, for sure. Hey, good morning, Steve. Sorry, thank you so much for coming. Could you do me a favor? Could you give Moshe this?
Moshe, we'll play it. Give that song. Okay, start off from next.
Could sit right over here. We have a special seat right over here.
What people we have named Stop it.
Yes.
Oh, sure. What? Love it.
Come. No. Oh, here. I have a special place here.
So there. No, it's not that here. No.
Well, you want a special? Yeah.
How are you?
Good. You want a color on it?
No, we can't call it.
Okay. Hayoim kotzav hamalachim meruba. Every minute is precious. It's a special day, and we mentioned yesterday that the Zohar says 6 Yomim Tovim, and the 6th Yom Tov is Chamisha B'Av, and the Mishnah says Lo Yom Tovim L'Yisrael Chamisha B'Av Kiyam Kippurim. That we compare Yom Kippur to Chamisha B'Av. Everyone understands Yom HaKodesh. Yom Kippur is a very holy day. So Chamisha B'Av is compared to that, is similar to that. Okay. One of the special things had to do with shidduchim, and that's to do with children. So, a shaila that came up was actually not. It was a while ago. A couple asked me about this. That they were considering to have that the biological mother would give her eggs to a host mother.
What's a host mother? I'm not sure.
So
I heard it, but not totally.
Let me explain.
Oui.
So the thing is that couples that are trying for years to have children, and sometimes there's a problem with the zera of the mother, with the eggs of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
So they figured out that you could take the seed of the father, and you could take the egg of a different woman, and you implant it.
Yes.
So you take a viable egg, good health, a healthy egg. You make sure that it's healthy, and then you implant that egg plus the seed into a woman's womb, and she is like the host. So yeah, it's not a
the woman is the host.
So the
one
could
who
work
into is the host.
Yeah. So there's 2 women basically that are shutfim in making this child. Now, scientifically and genetically, is kemat in Gansen that the child is from the host, not from the host, but rather from the biological mother. The biological mother, it's her seed. So kemat, if you test the child, but they say there is a little bit. It's not like there's 0 from the host. The host mother has also something in it, but mostly the tchunas of the child is like the biological mother. So the shaila is, who is the mother? Is the first woman, the biological woman, the mother? Is the host woman the mother? Or are they both the mothers? My nafkamina. So right. So the first nafkamina would be, and the most serious nafkamina is about who's considered brothers and sisters and family. Lagabi getting married. There is you're not allowed to marry your brother and your sister. That's a pretty serious shaila. Then there is in the case of the people that were asking me, obviously the question is yichud. Is this your child? So if it's male and female, to be miyachid, is this your child? Are you allowed to be miyachid with your child? You're not allowed to be miyachid with stam, a person that's not your child. So ebazoi, that's also a shaila. It's a shaila if the biological mother who gave the eggs is not Jewish. That wasn't the shaila here. Here, the woman that asked, there's shaila, there's Bas Kohen Levia, the Lagabi Pidyon Aben. There's a shaila about Mamzedus. If someone here is a Mamza, the shaila is Lagabi Yerusha. The shaila is about Bechor. The shaila is about Psuli Aedus. So there's a lot of shailas. Now, what happened was this week. This is the shaila I got a very long time ago, and I'll talk later about what I think Lagabi the shaila. So basically, this couple was thinking that they're getting a little older, so why not? They'll instead of going through the tircha of Tisha Yarche Leda, so they'll have the Zera Ishva Isha that take the seed and the egg, and they'll have a host woman that will that will go through the tircha of the Tisha Yarche Leda.
But the host woman getting money, you have to tell people that.
For money. How is that negated to me about the money?
She's not the real mother. She's buying like the baby. This is the real mother.
I don't know who.
I'm just thinking.
Money, I don't know. Money, I don't know.
A lot of money.
I don't know, but I know that the shaila is.
Okay, but still.
I don't know. Money, I don't know.
$10,000, $15,000.
I don't know money. But I don't think the money if you pay or don't pay, I don't think it make a difference in halacha. So this week, someone was talking to my wife, and Nabach, she had a daughter who was off the derech, and the daughter doesn't want to have children, but she's gladly giving from couples that need. She's giving eggs. So this woman says, "Can I count? She said, I think by now I have 18 o'clock." So my daughter says she's never planning to get married, and I only have one daughter. Could I say that I'm a grandmother to 18 o'clock? So so my wife asked. I mean, this is not, it's a funny question. So anyway, I figured a little bit. I'll give just like last week, and we'll touch on something which is very big. I'll tell you that this is a very, very big sugya. I don't have a very definitive opinion on it. I'm just to give you a little bit of an overview of what's of what's going on in the sugya. When this became a question, one of the first people that wrote a tshuva is Menachem Goldberg, and what I'm presenting today is based on a tshuva from Menachem Goldberg, and also based on several other tshuvas that I put on the paper. You'll be able to look it up if you'd like. Menachem wrote this tshuva about 20 years ago. Yeah. Menachem Goldberg was No, they didn't talk, not about this shit. They talked about IVF. They didn't touch on the shaila. So no, because it's a little more serious. And the problem is, right. The problem is that this is a very, very it's isolated in the shaila, and Zalman Nechemi writes, and Taka, the other Rabbanim agree that there's no raya mufureshus in Shas on one way or the other way. There's no mamish, a slam dunk Gemara where you see one way or the other way. There isn't a mamish, but they're working on it. So it's a work in progress. The sugya. Number one of the first things that I brought up a Gemara in Yavamas. Toshma shnei achim toimim geirim. There were two twins, and they're both geirim, so they're not brothers. So if one slept with his brother's wife, he's not chayiv mishum echazach. That's not his brother. Apidin is not his brother. Why? Because once he was Megayed, he's like a new child. He's like a new person. No yibum, no chalitza, no nothing. Okay. What happens if at the conception she was a goy, and same time she was Megayed, and now the lady was Begdusha? This is the funny story in the Gemara. They're not brothers. That means when they grow up and they get married, if the older brother dies and the wife has no children and she's free to get married, there's no chalitza, there's no libim, there's no nothing, there's no connection. They're not brothers. But if they grow up and they get married and one sleeps with the other one's wife, that's considered a brother. So here you have a very funny thing. So you have a very funny thing. It's considered a brother and it's not considered a brother. Sagt Rashi, Shnei Achim Toimim, Dahani Vade Achim Nino Mino Av, the Kaim Melon Tipachas, Hium is Chalekes B'Shtayim, Afila Hochi Lechiltzim V'Lei Me'abim. That the Chidush in the first case, by Shnei Achim Toimim, is because we know, Chazal know, that when you have twins, it's for sure from one father. Like the Gemara talks about Orpah, it says, whatever, there was every child, one of her children was a child of 100 fathers, because they didn't know one of 100 men could have been their father. So, but, right? Gemara Soita. But, right, she was active. So here, Chazal said that Kimlon, that when you have twins, it's not such a thing. It's not shaykh to have twins, and the one boy or the one girl was from one father and the other. No, Chazal said, no, it has to be that it came from the same seed. No, because they were Megayer, they were Goyim, and then the babies were Megayer. The Gershon is Gayer, Kikotten Chanel Adami, Hilkich Ein Laach, Vafilu Menaim, Lacholzim Alameabim, Zokrashi, the Tzad Yibu Mina Avu. In this case, she was Megayed in the middle of her pregnancy. So we say that Yibum Chalitza has to do with the father. And because for the first half of her pregnancy she was not Jewish, so we consider that this seed came from a behema. It came from a behema. She became pregnant from a behema. So there's no father here. So, in order for one brother to be responsible for the other brother in terms of Yibam and Chalitza, there has to be a shared father. Here, it's Ki'ilu, there's no shared father. It's as if she became pregnant for Behema, so it's not Shaykh. Avol, Chayovim Kodes, there's Chayiv Kodes. Obviously, when we say Chayiv Kodes, it means it's serious. It's not a Derabonim. Avol Chayovim Kodes, Meshum, Eishes, Achmina Aim. Sharei hiki Yisrael yolda bonim. So Goldberg said like this, Posh. He said, if you think, essentially what the Gemara is telling you here is that we're looking at this woman as if there's two women. Before she became Jewish and after, there's two women. And Hayois Yibam v'Chalitza has to do with conception. So there's one dinner. Then there is to be considered a brother. That's to do with birth. So he says, when it comes to determine if he's your brother or your sister or relative, it has to do with birth. So he says, this woman is like two women. Oh, it's very close to Ashayla. Because this woman before Gatus and after Gatus is like a cotton Chanel, looks like a new woman. So it's as if the first woman gave her seed. So this is the case that we're asking about the biological mother and the host mother.
Well, when the woman Megayer told the Ubarim afterward, they were born Jewish.
He says he holds that they're Jewish, and he has also an extra pilpul. He says it makes no difference because when the mother was toivel, the babies were toivel with her, so it makes no difference. But that's a side thing. His main thing is about Yuchsin. Now he wants to learn from this Gemara that the biological mother is nothing. That means if the biological mother has another child, if this egg is a boy and the biological mother now has a girl, so this boy and girl could marry each other. They're not a brother and a sister.
I don't like this question about two women. She's a bear. What's the baby's bear? I mean, it's a girl. She married a funny. She was a bear. That's the thing. No, a bear.
No, but she was but that. No, that's a separate child. But when they even no, because if they were a guy under 3 years old, it's fine. It's fine. So anyway, everyone already pointed out a little bit the weakness of this raya, and this is one of his better rayas. I didn't bring a list of other rayas that has to do with kilayim because it's like you're trying to learn from plants to humans. It's a little bit of a stretch. Menachem himself says it's a stretch. He's saying I'm working overtime here. I just want to tell you about Ibzal Menachem Grober. It was a going awesome. Today you become a little bit of a. There's a joke that you become a gadol, and who makes you a gadol? Shuki Lehrer, who's the guy that takes pictures. Or I don't know for the magazine. Huh? So Rabbi Zalman Menachem Grober was a goin that was unbelievable. His father-in-law was Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and he was mamish on the same level. Elamai was a very humble person. Behem is a very, very humble person. And when I was in Israel, I got smicha from him. So I went to his house on a Thursday night, and he gives a shiur in Minchas Chinuch Thursday night. It was something to see. It wasn't just the shiur. There was Mikol Katzvek, there were Mizrachi Jews, that professors and Grois Lamdonim, Meir Shorim, and Mizrachi. And there was like 30, 40 people. This tiny apartment he lived in. Yeah. And he was a mamish. It was a going out. He tried his best on this shaila. Another thing is he doesn't think it's a very important raya, but it's just a funny Gemara that a little bit talks to our issue. The second thing is the Gemara looking base. The Gemara Cholim says hidbuk shnei rachmim v'yotza mizeh v'nichnas l'zeh mau. Did they potter? The lav did they loy potter? Or dilma lav did they nami potter teiku? What happens? Say two women decided they're going to glue their wombs, and the baby is going to go from the first woman's womb to the second woman's womb. This is talking about the two behemoths. Oh, it's impossible. It's impossible. Two women, or here it's talking about two behemoths, they glued their wombs together, and the baby jumps out from woman A to woman B, lives in the womb of woman B.
But she was already born.
No, glue. Man, there's no aviroil. Super glue.
But I don't think it's possible.
What is it? Exactly.
That's why it's a takeover.
No, that's not why it's take. It's take because the Gemara doesn't know the answer. La halacha. So you see from here an unbelievable thing. You see from this Gemara.
That is possible because they take one egg from this one, the other one.
Yeah, but that's not.
So, but what happens is that this Gemara shows you. So what happens is again. What happens is that from this Gemara you see an unbelievable thing. Chazal were talking about a case that is hardly possible to imagine today, let alone 2,000 years ago, that this should be done. But Chazal wanted to talk about every single case. Chazal wanted to talk in the days of the Gemara. If anyone went to the Vina Rav Ashi, he said, "Are you crazy? The best science today, this is not possible, and I don't think for another 2,000 years the science will know how to do it." So Rav Ashi is going to say, "Okay." So for 2,000 years they won't know how to do it. But what happens? What happens in 2024? They'll be sitting on a Sunday morning having bagels and coffee and Beis Menachem Mendel, and it is relevant. So I want to write about it today. So it's remarkable now when you have a new appreciation. You learn Gemara, and like the stories of Rabbi Yomi, he kept on asking questions until they got so fed up and they kicked Rabbi Yomi out of the Beis HaMedrash because he was asking so many ridiculous questions. So all of a sudden you got a new respect for Rabbi Yomi, for him and his ridiculous questions, because Chazal asked. The emes is that I heard a word from Reb Soloveitchik that he said about his Reb Chaim, that Reb Chaim, a lot of if you learn the whole Reb Chaim on the Rambam, a lot of the nafkaminas are not like earth-shattering nafkaminas. It's like kamina that can happen once in a billion years. But he said it's like the parameters of something. Where the parameters are, that's where the lumdus is. You want to know where the parameters of this issue is, what's inside, what's outside, and that's in a very unusual case. Anyway, so this is the Gemara. So the Gemara, it seems from the Gemara that the first mother is for sure the mother, and then there's the Gabapidyan. You have to first the Shaila is a fault, so the second mother is a mother. This is very different. That Gemara is talking about the baby was a viable fetus and was about to be born, and it went out of one rechem to the other. Over here, we're talking about that you took out the egg from the biological mother. If you put it into a petri dish, so nothing would happen with it, unless you'll tell me that maybe one day that will be discovered that you could take out the egg of a woman, put it in a petri dish for 9 months, and and that you could have a baby. And then you could tell me when that's going to happen. Then you're going to tell me that this Gemara is a raya. Okay, so let's wait for that to happen.
Rabbi, nowadays they're changing so many parts of body, almost everything. I think they can do it.
I'm not so sure.
So far.
I'm not so sure. But the third raya is a brilliant raya. So he brings, look at the Gimel. Rav Goldberg brings a raya. The Targin Yonason ben Uzziel writes in Bereshis. V'yishmiya min kodam Hashem tzloisa deleya. V'yischalfu b'rayu b'mayayu. V'hava Yosef b'mayo aderachel. V'dina b'mayo adeleya. We say that Leah Davin, that she was pregnant and she was scared she's going to have a baby boy, and her sister would not even end up having two boys. So she davened to the Eibishter, and she ended up that her sister had Yosef and she had Dina. So the one pshat, the way it seems a poshet in Chazal in the beginning of the last parak of Brachos, is that she davened, and it was before Arboim Yom, and maybe it was even after Yom Yom, because Tzaddikim could daven after Arboim Yom, before Arboim Yom. But that Yonason ben Uzziel was a big tzaddik, right? The Gemara says. So he was a Tana who public. So he writes, no, Yosef was sitting in the womb of Leah. Dina was sitting in the womb of Rachel. Came a malach and switched.
The Torah is Jonathan ben Uzziel in the Chumash. It's not from Jonathan ben Uzziel.
So who is it?
Nobody knows this. Not clear. Only from ben Uzziel wrote only on the Nevi'im. It's well known that it's not.
But from this Yonason ben Uzziel, it seems a funny thing that the Torah says that Yosef's mother, Yosef HaTzadik, his mother is Rachel, and Dina, the mother, is Leah. And turns out that this is mamish what happened. There's a biological mother and there's a host mother, and we're looking only at the host mother, and we ignored the biological mother. Okay, I mean, versteht sich.
That's why Mary passed the place.
It's hard to bring a raya from Agadata, from
The parchment from his neck.
right, exactly.
Through the then you had to saw that with pulling and lumbers, anything and the opposite way. But when you get down to it, the facts are that the egg is physically part of the woman who gave it, and the seed is physically part of the man who gave it. And where you put it, that's secondary. Like the woman, like let's say instead of putting it into a woman, you would put it into a test tube and grow a baby in the test tube. So there's no question of who the parents are.
I hear your argument, but that's why I said before exactly for this argument. If Ilu Yitzuyah, that's possible, but what happened? But I'm not sure that really is true. That it's possible, and we'll find out.
What's possible?
You're saying what I said before, that Ilu Yitzuyah you could take seed, and
today you can't do it. What will happen? Like they already cloned the animals.
right,
They have a sheep.
right,
They cloned it from them.
right. Okay. So let me summarize what went on. I like I said, I don't have a strong opinion on this, and it's but what happened was there was a little bit of a pushback to this article of Rav Menachem because you can expect. The Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Rav Eliashiv, others, they said that we're not convinced that the child is solely the child of the host mother, and they were choshed that maybe the biological mother has something to do over here. Ada Yoim, I'm not sure that it's so that the issue is so settled. I believe that there will be oit chazon lamoyed to this issue. I'm a little bit surprised to hear that lamaisa that apparently there's some organization that's allowing this girl. By now she'd given to many couples her eggs. So obviously they hold like Rav Zalman Menachem Goldberg, unless they're halting cheshbon and making sure about the yuchsin. So I mean, basically the whoever's involved,
She's never getting married.
yeah, but now her children could get married to each other. How are they to know?
Well, they're
A
not
brother could marry a sister. If you hold a Rav Zalman Menachem Goldberg, everything is gewaldig. basically, if you hold like Abzam Menachem Gorbuk, it's better. Take a genetic thing from a Yiddish mother. Come on, take a Yiddish Zera. But if you hold that Abzam Menachem might be wrong, the best egg to take is from a shiksa, from a goy, and maybe Megayah the baby lechumra. This way, you're never going to have a problem that a brother is going to marry a sister.
Yeah.
So if you hold like Abzam Menachem Gorbuk, you want to take a Jewish woman's eggs, and we want to keep it in the family, but we want to have Yiddish Kinderlach. But if you have even a slight doubt that Abzam Menachem, the best thing is to take an egg from a goy. So anyway, back to us, to our question. There is
To make sure it's really right. It's worse if you don't know.
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. You have to make sure it's a kosher goy.
Fancy.
Yeah.
But even black people, you have to make sure, because sometimes you find out that they're actually
Could happen.
Jewish.
Could happen. So it's very those people that are Jewish are so frum and are so ehrlich. They're not walking around and whatever. But anyway, this is so. I'm surprised to hear that Lamaisa, that today that this is happening. That they're taking eggs from a Jewish girl, and now she said she has almost a club. So I don't know. To me, that's a pella. Back to the question at hand. So this couple would end up with even though maybe the B'zam Menachem is wrong, and because this mother is the biological mother, child would be her child, but there's a suffix, maybe it's not her child. So there would be a Shaila of Yichud, there would be a 300 Shailas, there would be Shailas of Yichud and Yuchsin and everything. So obviously, I said that this is like, this would be a crazy venture to go into. This was a couple that has already children. So just to have another child.
The Goya that give the eggs, make different if it's white or black.
It could be purple.
Yeah.
So she will have a black boy.
Okay, yes.
If anyone has
That's
questions.
genetics.
Huh?
That's genetic.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do about it.
Okay. So that's the maskon of the sugya. As I said, we'll get back to the sugya.
Yeah.
Hopefully another time. Okay. Someone asked me. Someone texted me. It's a
Position about this evening? Did we talk about it?
I think he had a position, but the time is not for going into Rebbe's position on it. We'll get to that.
Sure.
Thank you. About someone asked me if he's allowed to get a haircut from a goy, and she's a woman. Oh. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was I thought
Two different questions.
Yeah.
Goy and woman.
And the woman. So I thought that the person that asked me was a joke, but then I saw that the person asked it seriously. So before we go inside, the Gemara says it's very serious about taking a haircut from a goy. The Mekubalim said that regardless of all the kulas that the Gemara says that's brought in the Sefer Tetzos Chaim, the Mekubalim were very machmer never to get a haircut from a goy for Kabbalistic reasons. But the Gemara had a problem with it because the goy machoshed la shvichas damim. Yeah.
Didn't Haman get Mordechai a haircut?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. So let's read it inside.
Very good.
The Yoda Deya says like this: you're not allowed to take a haircut from a goy, only in a place that bnei adam are motzui. In other words, the Gemara says the Shulchan is saying it's not. It basically there has to be people there. So people there, the goy is scared to go kill the Jew because he has a knife in his hand, and we suspect the goy would kill. But if there's bnei adam there, the goy won't kill. If the guy thinks that this person is Adam Choshev, and if he's going to kill him, the government is going to want to know who killed this guy, and he'll get into trouble. So if one of these two cases, you're allowed to take a haircut from the guy. And then the Agor, the Ramah says, those are machmir, even if it's a makom rabim, if it's betab. if he's cutting him not with a scissor but with a knife, because scissor, it's a little harder to kill someone with a scissor. It takes a little more skill to kill someone with a scissor. With a knife, a blade in your hand,
Not a shot.
right,
The scissors, not a shot.
right,
Rabbi doesn't say go, so bet kochavim to them.
same
or the
thing,
kohanim.
same thing. It's goy. They changed it because that's goy. Not allowed to. Once he's looking in the mirror, because the Gemara over there says that if the guy's looking in the mirror, he looks like an Adam Choshev. From that, we learned the idea of Adam Choshev. The point is not the mirror. The point is that
watching his hand.
no. The Rishonim are learning the Mara is because he's an Adam Choshev. It's those days, the Nashim Chshuvim. I mean, thing has to be a place. So he's Madama that he's an Adam Choshev.
Yesterday.
Not,
Like you started from yesterday.
yeah, exactly. Like the general that's going to see the Baal Shem Tov.
In the mirror.
The minig is to be make like the Svar Shina, that regardless if it's a scissor or there's a knife in his hand, if there is one of the two kulas, there is an abim, or the guy thinks there's Adam Choshev, that we're making to take a haircut from a guy. As I said, the Makabala Mamachber. The Shach says, the Shkiche is eight, Abel B'Mesparaim, the Shkiche is eight, Keshoni, Meshim Acher, Toisusham, Pirish Abach, Dim Eini Mayacher, Valabachi, also Lisiach, the Bach says, anyway, hey, if there's no one else there, it's also for a Jew to be Messiach with a goy, because the goy, Shakosha, the Shvichas Dam, Chem Furish Betoisham, the Dibra Kodam, and Zelashena, Abu Ben Elabeno, also the stop, Pirish Mak, Shane Gilum, the Elam Kolkach, Abu Beyichud Namish, Lo Yitztich, the typical Abelom Mistaper, also Lisiach, the Mamishum Shvichas Dam. And then the Shach continues, we needed the Hod, the Nogul Hokel, Hanim Shum Don, the Neuslam Schar, Lots of Agos Ashri, the Schar Mutter at Kalashine, the Kosha. There is a pshat in the Agos Ashri that we're making today because we're paying them, so they don't want to kill. It's a repeat customer. Why would he want to kill? He's the guy's going to pay. But the Shach doesn't buy that. That's the reason of the kula. Because people are around. Those people that are getting haircuts from the goy, and it's not that the other people are around, it's talking not good. Number one, it's also l'siyachid. And number two, it's also listapid. So they're doing double bad. So the Shach is saying that it's not a wholesale kula. It has to be the takazai, either b'nei adam mitzuyim sham, or then he's an adam choshev. But even if he's an adam choshev, you're not allowed to be mesiachid. So the bottom line is it has to be b'nei adam mitzuyim. I found a nice thing, and there's a Sefer Mesoris Moshe stories, like, things that someone published. Things that with a Moshe Feinstein, going to Moshe Feinstein's Colonel Lavacha was asked. So someone asked, he has a job by night, and he's working with a goy. It's him and a goy. So it's also the siach and a goy because the goy machosh l'shvich l'dama. So he asked Rav Feinstein if he's mutter for him because that's his parnasa. Then he'll lose his job. He wants to hold his job. So the Moshe said that it's different. The Zman said the goyim are mesiori because the government is very strict about shvichas l'dama. It's not push the zach shvichas l'dama. In the contrary, they're the other way. They kill people. They put them on death row. Or they put them a life sentence for rayis ru'us u'ma'oimed adas gediya mamish from a narishkeit. They'll put a person away for 30 years. No right. Like if a bezin would do ever. I mean, last night I was sitting and talking with a forensic psychologist, and she's doing a case that a boy pushed this. There was an abusive father, and the father gave him a patch to the kid. And we're not talking about little kids, 18-year-old kid. You shouldn't be. So he gave him with the patch, and the kid pushed his father. The father fell on the floor, and the kid ran away. Then the father needed to be hospitalized. A few days later, the father died. Wow. Now this kid is mamish. Is the prosecution wants a death sentence. And maybe, yeah, there's no rise, there's no ointment, there's no. I'm saying how bad, like what the system is. It was over 18.
Is here in New York?
I don't know which state it is. I don't know which state it is. I don't know which state it is. I didn't ask. So, but it's
definitely not New York.
So I don't understand. It's like, it would be a joke if you told if you told a child, your child that's learning already Mishnayos. not Gemara. Mishnayos, Sanhedrin will tell you that this is crazy. So Bisman Hazeh, because the Goyim, the Goyim, the Malchus is very strict with Shvichas Damim. He said, even in Europe, the Eden were not so choishish to this din to the Osel Siach de Magoy. So based on this, what Moshe said, so the haircut would be the same thing. Although you could say, look, a haircut, you have Yiddish barber, give parnasa to the Yid, but ain't done efshem efshem. This guy needed his parnasa. So if there's a Yiddish barber, you should go to the Yiddish barber. But if the situation is that, so you could rely. But for that most of the barbers today, it's a mokum sherab mitzvah, people coming in, people going out. There's a big. Yeah, it's fine. However, the shaila is the woman and the man. Oh, so it's appelled to me that someone asked the shaila, but someone asked, because they asked the shaila, you have to address the question. And I saw there was a tshuva from the Riva Ephraim, as a Colonel Brocher of Ephraim Grumblatt, was a rabbi in Memphis, Tennessee for many years. 50 years. He passed away last year, 2 years ago. So, right. There you can see, you can see with his Comet's battle. So when you come into Eichlis for a while, they had it in front. So he was a rabbi, like 50 years in Memphis. He was like, yeah, and he was made in America. It was made in America.
What is his name?
Ephraim Grumblatt. He was a boy that grew up. He was born here in New York, and then I think he went for a year or two in Telz. He came back. He learned Yishus in America. He was made in America. I think he went maybe a year to Telz.
He's still around?
Yeah. So he writes a tshuva that, yeah, it's true. He learned very much. So he says, someone called, a yeshiva bacher called him up, and he said he was in the airport, and he was stuck from a plane, another plane. He was stuck there for 3 hours in the airport. So there was a barber shop. So the barbers were women. So he took a haircut. Was that wrong? So he said, I've had this wrong. So the bacher said, bring me a raya, show me the makoides. So he said, well, number one, it depends. If the woman is Jewish, and you don't always know, the woman's Jewish, it's Mamas Osher. She's a Nida. She's a Nida. What? She's going to tell you she went to the mikveh last night.
And also here,
she's a Nida. And even if she's a Goy, so today's, what's it called? It's Hirur Rabbi Koshim Avei. Some sort of a poshet. He said, well, I didn't answer him. I just asked him which yeshiva is. I called the Bashgiach of yeshiva. And I gave him kakosu, and the boy called me back and he apologized. But yeah, exactly. That was funny. So he said he's writing. It's comical, but he's writing. He said that could be that a yeshiva bocher should ask such a question. And where did we get to?
Something again.
Right. That's what he's saying. How can a yeshiva bocher ask such a question? The truth is, we talk about it 2 years ago, a shiur about men going to women doctors women. If we say about Vadatayu Tridi, that you're saying that it's professional and that there's no it's bad enough that we have no choice today, and we have to be makel sometimes. And there is no choice. But what can we do? This is, especially when it comes to health, we have to be makel.
Yeah.
But haircuts, and also with haircuts, a little less to say. A doctor, supposedly a doctor. It's like Reb Shmuel said, kake chivri. This is these women that to me white ducks. That's a garnish. So supposedly to a doctor, this is all kake chivri, the white ducks. Halavai. But that's, well, let's close our eyes and put our heads in sand and say that's the case. And that's the way it is. But the haircut, it's a cultural thing. Everything is b'derech chiba. Everything is b'derech chiba. What do you mean? When you get here, you go to there's a few Yiddish barbers.
Yeah,
they're nice people. It's b'derech chiba. They move you. It's fine. It's Sayyid. But It's b'derech hiba, and this is the least of barbers. I mean, what are they charging? So we're talking about these fancy barbers where they're charging 5 times the amount, and it's yeah, I get a knip in the back lahin and and they put and they're washing. Yeah, so that's all b'derech hiba. What are you talking to me about? Be'avodayu tridi that they're torud in their avodah and they're not thinking about chiba. It's also
Rabbi, a mother give a haircut to his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. And a mother and a wife can give her husband, but has to be a wife can give her husband, but it has to be after in the days where she's allowed to play her out. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. It's I'm only mentioning it because someone pushed it asked. So
Rabbi, I just want to give a story. Told you, they have 2 guys that are breastfed. They live in Israel now. One of the son wrote his mother and sent a picture. He become wrestler. They were chofshiyim, and she tell her younger son to go to bring him back when it was in California. He went there, and the older guy was a barber, giving a haircut to all the big shots in California, Los Angeles. He used to tell me, I had from a lot that came to me here for Shidduchim. He used to tell me he used to take $1,000. I'm talking 15 years ago. $1,000 or $1,500 for a haircut. Unbelievable. The younger went there, become more aggressive than him. And both of them live now in the first left place.
Neil.
Yeah. And when I come to Israel, they send me a car, come over to go by me for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Okay, very nice. Let me finish off with third child. Someone asked me this week about pans. Non-Cholov Yisrael pans and a pan. You know those heavy pans that you make cookie sheets. So her mother doesn't keep Cholov Yisrael, and she's making cookies in her mother's house. And the pans have cookies that are on it that are not Cholov Yisrael. So she wants to know if she can put parchment paper. Parchment paper and just put, yeah. So I said I don't see any problem. It's the cookies are not touching the pan and they're not. Well, first of all, the problem not.
But you keep
They're not. She keep kosher. Not called
So
I said as I said they should just put paper. Huh? No, her mother uses. No, but they're putting because her cookies are not going to touch the sheets. She's going to put parchment paper on it, so the cookies are never going to touch the sheet.
No, it's sacred, but
and OUD they do. No, because they're putting hot. They're putting hot. What do you mean they wash it? But they put hot. No way. Chas v'sholom. The parchment paper is that the cookies are not touching. Huh? It's not balaya. Who says balaya? No, I think it's a half second. No, I wouldn't be makel if the sheets were treif. I would think about it a little bit. But we're talking about cholovakum. They're monon. So I think that it was good enough to put silver foil or sheets in order to make it be mutter. Okay. Maybe shalom. The walls are up there. No, because it's a big oven and there's no zayah with cookies. So if this thing would have been chicken, it would have been very different. If it was liquidy thing, everything would have been different. It wouldn't a little bit of silver foil wouldn't save the day. The deep layer, this is the cookies. There's no zayah, no nothing. So yours is a silver foil. David Shalhalfen, Mitzvah Hashem will be baking and cooking for Sudas Kamela Kamatia. Tonight in Mitzvah Hashem, 8:30, we're bringing Lekovid, Chamisha Osabov.
We have the women. Yes,
You have all the bagels we eat out.
Left it in the
Oh, yeah. Trace. Fine. Excellent. Fine. Thank you.
Yes, clear. Very nice.
Looking to you see? So things without looking inside, it was good.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't
Full shleim on your eyes.
when my eyes are okay. Now they're on the mend. So
my daughter said the best parchment paper is Geula. I bought a different kind. But Geula is
Yeah.